Look at the camera.
I'm Katie. I'm from Michigan. I was adopted from China when I was a year old, so I'm an adoptee.
To give them safety and travel to. Thank you for loving us and taking care of us. Help us to trust in you for all things, for Jesus' sake.
Katie was probably 5 years old. She asked me whose tummy she came from.
我们不想给他破次那个接头，实在没办法。
早上是凌晨大概4点多钟送他的，因为我必须这么做，所以我把它放下了。
And I said, "You were born of my heart."
你说我和他见面，我能说什么？说对不起有用吗？没用，10000个对不起都没用。
I held back on a lot of years. I did not want this to happen.
我刚刚看到他了。他在那边。在那边。
But it's going to happen, and it's good.
For nearly 40 years, China had a one-child policy to control population growth. The penalties for having more than one child were severe, including heavy fines and forced abortion. So when Xu Lida and Changfu Chang got pregnant with their second child, they kept a secret.
当时呢，有7个月了，想给他引产引掉的。我呢，那时候也经常听到他胎动的声音，我觉得挺可怜的，他孩子都给他引产引掉。所以说呢，我最后的决定还是给他生下来。生下来，我想生下来自己养不活的话，我可以给他送人。那天早晨，后来等于说生出来第3天早晨吧，然后我奶瓶还冲了，那个才冲好，还放在他怀里，就这样抱着，把他抱到菜塘边。当时呢，他没有哭，睡着了。当时我轻轻地吻了他一下，我知道这是最后的告别了。然后我走了，他留给我的声音就是最后的哭声吧。到现在我记得很清楚。
A year later, in 1996, an American couple, Ken and Ruth Pohler, traveled from Michigan to Suzhou in China to adopt a baby girl. They called her Katie.
I grew up in a place that was very white, very Caucasian, but my community was so close and so tight that I saw myself as different, but I was actually really accepted. But then things started to become different when I went outside that community, and not everyone knew me and knew my story, and they expected me to act certain ways that I just didn't realize I had to.
Katie was probably 5 years old, and she came up to me. We were at a meeting at church. She asked me whose tummy she came from. Did I come from your tummy? And I said, no, you didn't come from my tummy. You came from a lady's tummy in China, but you came from my heart. You were born of my heart. And she was off running, doing something else. That was all she needed to know, and she was happy with that.
I guess there were times that I was curious, but it never really got brought up, so. I remember, so all of my adoption, the files in the folder is on the top shelf of my closet. So I remember being younger and just climbing and pulling chairs, trying to reach it, and then I just open it, and I couldn't even read the stuff, but I remember doing that a couple times.
If Katie had been able to read Chinese, she would have found a very important letter. It was a note that her birth parents had pinned to her when they left her in the market.
The orphanage gave us a document written in Chinese, and it was a message from the birth parents to the adoptive parents. It sort of said, we are giving up this child not because we want to, but because of the way things are now in China.
小吕静之于公元1995年，
农历7月24，
死了城，生于苏州。家境贫寒和世事所迫，万般无奈，弃小吕于街头。人若有情，可怜天下父母亲。于10年、20年后，相会杭州断桥之上。
The letter was signed from her heartless parents.
That was a heartfelt request to us. And of course, when we read that, we thought, oh my, we live on the other side of the world. How is this gonna all, can we do this?
孩子领养去了，我想2、3年、3、5年，人家不太可能会认我们和我们相认的。我说，假如10岁不可能，20岁肯定会知道自己的身世了。所以说我心中呢留了这个10年、20年2个约定的日期。
We thought too, if we had to give up our child, we would wonder every day where that child is. And so we wanted to give some assurance to the birth parents that Katie had a good home, that she was being taken care of well, and that we loved her very much. And we needed the birth parents to know that.
Hangzhou's legendary Broken Bridge is a famous meeting place. Every year on the 7th of July, people go there to be reunited with loved ones. When Katie turned 10, Ken and Ruth sent a messenger to the bridge.
前天晚上我们根本没有睡觉，我们夫妻俩。那我当时在想，我写的纸条上的内容也挺深刻的，也挺真诚的啊。我想他父母肯定会来约会的，他父母就是他孩子本人不来，他父母肯定会来，一个都会来一个的。所以说我们很期待也很期盼，早上很早，7点多钟，我们就准备好了，手上呢拿了一个扇子，写了个禁止2个字，看着每一个行人，看着每一个游人，特别是带小孩的，特别留意，特别在意。8点半、9点、10点，一直进入到3点半吧，我已经彻底没希望。3点40分我们回家了，回到家，然后因为当时邻居都知道我们去断桥等孩子，人家我们回家了，人家很多人就说，我说你们白等吧，不会的，人家绝对根本不会来的。回到家我们很失望，当时晚饭一个都没吃，真的内心真的很失落的。
The messenger arrived late and missed Katie's parents. But she spoke to some reporters who were on the bridge to film reunions. And a local TV program appealed for the parents to come forward. Katie's birth parents went on the show, and their story gripped the nation.
小吕静之于公元1995年农历7月24日上午10时出生于苏州。
This was not what Ken and Ruth expected back in Michigan.
How can this be a news story through China? And we were stunned.
I was petrified.
I was stunned, and Ruth was petrified.
It was scary for me.
She's only a 10-year-old girl. We don't want someone from China that she doesn't know contacting her and say, where are your birth parents? We really didn't think she was ready for that.
The fear was that I could possibly lose my daughter, that the news media got it, a story got it, and that maybe they would take her back because now they knew who her parents were. And it was like, I had bonded. She was my daughter. We had adopted her. I did not want any connection.
Meanwhile, Katie's birth parents were still hoping to see their daughter.
04年到现在，每个星期我都会到断桥去。我知道， 没有希望，但是我仍然会坚守，在西湖，就这样痴痴的待上一天，希望能够女儿的缺陷。可是呢，这种愿望都落空了，从来没有。
On the other side of the world, Katie knew nothing about this until last year, after she turned 20.
Growing up, I never really asked questions. I had some like details in my head that like I was left somewhere and I was left with a note, but it's been so long since I had talked about it, I wasn't sure if that was true. I asked my mom, I'm just like, what do you know about my adoption one time in the car? And then she's like, oh yeah, there's something we probably should have told you a long time ago. I was like, oh, this sounds interesting. And she's like, yeah, well, we're kind of like have contact with your birth parents.
Mr. Xu and his wife came from a small
Katie
village in
discovered that her
Jiangsu
birth
province
parents
in East
had
China.
appeared in a documentary
This part of
called
China is
Long
known
Wait
its
for
better
Home,
standard of living.
and that the
After first
filmmaker was in
child,
touch
his wife
with
became
both
pregnant
families.
unexpectedly. In their area,
For me,
the
it's
one-child
still kind of
policy
hard to
was
deal
implemented.
with too. Why my adoptive parents didn't tell me sooner.
As adoptive parents, we don't know if our child really wants to know or does not want to know.
I understand their logic. I just think it was bad logic, because they're just like, oh, like, you know, we wanted to make sure like you were ready and blah blah blah, but I don't think you're ever really ready. And they're just like, well, if you asked questions, we would have told you earlier, but we never really talked about adoption in the first place.
I didn't want to, they're just going through puberty and they're finding out who they are. I didn't want to do that. And then they're in high school and I don't know, it just seemed like there was, and then she was going on to college. But hindsight, I wished we had just said, Katie, this is the information we have. You may do with it what you want.
Katie found the DVD and
It is supposed
decided
be
to
a
watch
moment
it.
of great joy, the joy of a brand new
实
life.
在没办法，情感把他催得紧。连我妈妈的房子还要搬，他哥哥的房子要搬，我们自己的房子搬了不算，还要搬我妈妈的。我说我妈妈年纪这么大了，我说我自己生小孩，不想理他们。
我们呢，因为在杭州嘛，我们怕我们村里人找到我们，所以说我们选择躲避，就是到苏州他姐姐的船上嘛。孩子要生的嘛，生了我们当时不敢去医院，因为去医院怕医院要准生证，所以说我们选择了自己接生。接着接生，当时孩子生下来了，那非常健康的，就是我弄了个剪刀给他脐带剪掉。
我当时嘛，我在村上给小娟子生下来的时候，我心里想，我们找一个认识的人嘛，将来过一段时间好去看看，就是找也找不到，两个没办法，我跟我们老公商量，他就我们就放在那个苏州菜场吧。我说你放。
I actually watched at school in the library, which was a terrible idea, because I started crying. I think that's when it became more real for me, just kind of seeing their faces and, hearing what they kind of had to say to me and how much they cared. There was a little bit of guilt too, almost. I'm just like, wow, they care so much, but like I've kind of ignored them for the past, 20 years. The love was almost overwhelming.
This summer, Katie decided to fly to China to meet her birth parents on the bridge, just like her father had planned.
This needs to be washed. I need to do laundry.
I got laundry to do.
Yeah, you do.
Yeah. So
I know, like my adoptive parents love me, and now I have this like whole other love that like I never knew existed, but I guess was always there. I think my biggest fear in meeting my biological family is that somehow I'll like disappoint them more. I mean, in a lot of ways, like obviously they feel like they've let me down, but I also know how much pain they have gone through. The most obvious barrier, I think, is just language and culture. But I think ideally I don't want this to be a one-time meeting. So I do want some sort of continuing relationship. I don't know how personal that will be, but I think that's okay, because I do want to be realistic.
你说我和他见面，我能说什么？说对彼此有用吗？没用，10000个对比起都没用。
The big day has arrived. Katie and her birth family are traveling to the broken bridge where they'll meet again.
想象的场景，我应该看到我肯定情不自禁的肯定要扑上去吧，请求女儿的原谅。
我希望这个路上没有车吧，1辆车都没有，然后以最快的速度来到他的面前。我想对他说：“宝贝，我爱你。”
I have not thought about my first words to my birth parents.
我想象中的我跟我妹妹第一次见面，我希望见面的时候我能够给她一个拥抱，然后她愿意接纳我，我就已经很开心了。
There's just been a lot of build up to this point, so I feel like it's time. It was definitely kind of surreal walking across the bridge, just like looking at all the people.
我刚刚看到他了。
他在那一边。
在那边。
是不是看到了？我没看。
我也看。
长得跟妈妈真像，听不懂。
After the meeting, Katie spent a few days getting to know her birth family.
我小时候头发也多啊。我头发很少。
I think knowing that I have a biological sister is in some ways more mind-blowing. In my adoptive family, like I don't have any sisters, and so it's really exciting, I think. The day after that, I hung out with my parents.
允许放吧，允许放，没关系，这里我说的算。
Oh, it's like color.
宝贝，回家。
What is it?
这是什么？鸡翅 ，chicken wing。这个大鹅这么大。
I think there were just like a lot of like small moments where I just saw like how much they really cared. Like it was really funny. Like one of the first things I think my biological mom said was like, "Oh my, like you're so skinny." But then I like looked at my sister and I'm just like, she's like so much smaller, but she was like so concerned. So throughout the whole trip, like she would just like make me eat like everything.
吃鸭啊，多吃一点，宝贝。啊，这是牛肉。来，回家，吃回家来。
来，好干杯，好干杯。
The next morning, Katie's father showed her where she was left as a baby.
应该就这个位置，应该就他的现在应该就这个位置，当时就这个位置，当时就放在这个位置给你。当时修自行车的，他这里有没有一个小门的话，他修自行车的， 往回走到那个建设银，就是那个银行离这里100米的样子。我知道他已经被人发现了，并且哭了。然后呢，我真的想冲进来，可是我等于说我年纪拦住了我。
美国领养走的。
进来了，我把你肯定送不出去了。
He really just wanted my forgiveness. I understand for him why he needed forgiveness, but for me, I didn't feel like I needed to forgive them for anything. Like, from my perspective, I understand their situation as much as I think I can, and like, yeah, they were stuck. They were stuck in a system that was so broken.
"我知道的，我没做到一个接母亲的责任。
非常感谢他的父母，这20多年了，是吧？把她培养成一个如此优秀的女孩。
I think my biological parents, their thankfulness towards my adoptive parents overrides any sort of resentment towards my adoptive parents.
我是金枝的妈妈。
Yeah.
I'm Katie's biological mother.
你们好。
Hello.
Okay.
嗯。
Hello.
你们好。
Hello.
非常感谢你们
Thank you very much
把金枝培养得这么优秀。
for taking care of Katie.
Yeah, no, the Skype call was really weird because like that was like the most obvious times that like I have two sets of parents. But yeah, no, it's been really nice.
And we love her dearly, and she knows that. And we haven't lost anything today. We haven't lost anything at all. We're just happy for her.
I'm just happy that she's come to this point. I just hope there's a sense of peace and contentment with her, and that you know, if it means developing a relationship with them, that's okay. That's good.
金枝，我也还样东西要给你，已
Katie, I
经
have something for you.
20多年了。这是应该属于你的一份，我们中国人的压岁钱每年都有的，多少不一样，就是说，我呢每年呢等于说从小给你姐姐多少，我给你姐多少。
I'm not a very like traditional symbolic person, but it was really cool to see like how much they have thought about me throughout the years, that they like have saved the exact same amount, and so they gave that to me.
并不是钱，钱实际上并不能代表什么，代表我们一点心意啊。
I'm not used to like being the spoiled, but I know it was super important for them, and it was just like a very meaningful act.
我觉得他对我蛮亲切的，就是我们一起干了蛮多事情，他都一直笑，就希望多有机会见面。
One thing I realized going on this trip that I think did it more for my biological family.
你真是坐这边来，坐这里来，不要惹到他。
It was a lot more traumatic for them, and they've been living with a lot more emotion about it for so many years.
不觉得你还惹到他？
Yeah, it was good in different ways, I think, for us.
Don't cry, okay?
But for me, like, it was definitely fulfilling.
Bye. 不能拍照。
就坐电梯下去就好了。那我们走了。
I guess for like, yeah, for other adoptees who are like pursuing like reunion or searching, I think it's important to just like be very aware of like your feelings, and like there's not really a right or wrong way to feel during like any part of the process. No matter how much you know about your adoption or why you were given up, and how much you feel about it and how much it hurts, or no matter what the circumstance, I don't think it's good to suppress those feelings that might be hard to deal with.